Good afternoon, class. Before we start our proper lesson, let us have first a review about your previous topic. Last meeting, we discussed about earthquake and faults. Let us define first what is earthquake and faults. You learned that earthquake is any sudden shaking of the ground caused by the passage of seismic waves through Earth's rocks. It happens when two blocks of the Earth suddenly slip past one another. It is a series of vibrations induced in the Earth's crust by the abrupt rupture and rebound of rocks. On the other hand, fault is a fracture or zone of fractures between two blocks of rock. Earthquake usually occurs on faults. After learning about earthquake and faults, today let us all indulge ourselves as we go through our topic for today, which is understanding typhoon. Let us define first what is typhoon. Typhoon is a giant rotating storm that brings wind, rain, and destruction. It is an intense circular storm that originates over warm tropical oceans and is characterized by low atmospheric pressure, high wind, and heavy rain. A typhoon forms when the winds blow into the areas of the ocean where the water is warm. These winds collect moisture and rise, while colder air moves in below. This creates pressure, which causes the winds to move very quickly. The winds rotate or spin around a center called an eye. The tropical cyclone structure is consists of three main parts: the eye wall, and the rain bands. The first one is the eye. It is the roughly circular area of comparatively light winds that encompasses the center of a severe tropical cyclone. The eye is either completely or partially surrounded by the eye wall cloud. The next one is the eye wall. The eye wall in turn surrounds the interior region called the eye, where wind speeds decrease rapidly and the air is often calm. This is the most dangerous and destructive part of a tropical cyclone. And the last one is the rain bands. Rain bands in a tropical cyclone are curved and may even spiral around the center of the cyclone. Tropical cyclone rain bands include rain showers and thunderstorms. Now that you already know what is typhoon and the main structure of typhoon, let us now proceed to the categories of typhoon. Class, for your information, there are five main categories of typhoon. These are the tropical depression, tropical storm, severe tropical storm, typhoon, and super typhoon. The first category of typhoon is the tropical depression. When we say tropical depression, it is a tropical cyclone that has a maximum sustained surface winds of 38 miles per hour or less. The second category of typhoon is the tropical storm. It is a tropical cyclone that has a maximum sustained surface winds ranging from 39 to 73 miles per hour. The third one is a severe tropical storm, which is designed as a tropical cyclone when it reaches wind speed of 74 miles per hour. The fourth one is the typhoon, which is a tropical cyclone that has a maximum sustained surface winds of 118 to 220 kilometers per hour. And the last category is the super typhoon. It is an extremely powerful tropical cyclone in the region of the western Pacific Ocean with sustained wind speed in excess of 240 kilometers per hour. Class, how do typhoons form? For us to be aware about the formation of typhoon, let us all watch this video.
There are three basic stages in the life of a tropical cyclone: its origin or source, the mature stage, and the dissipation stage where it dies out. These occur in a continuous process, not as separate and distinct stages. Each stage may occur more than once during the life cycle as the strength of the cyclone rises and falls. It may reach land, weaken, then go back out to sea where it strengthens once more. The formation of a cyclone depends upon the following conditions coinciding: a large, still and warm ocean area with a surface temperature that exceeds 26.5 degrees Celsius over an extended period. This allows a body of warm air to develop above the ocean's surface. Low-altitude winds are also needed to form a tropical cyclone. As air warms over the ocean, it expands, becomes lighter, and rises. Other local winds blow in to replace the air that has risen, then this air is also warmed and rises. The rising air contains huge amounts of moisture evaporated from the ocean's surface. As it rises, it cools, condensing to form huge clouds about 10 kilometers up in the troposphere. More warm air rushes in and rises, drawn by the draft above. The rising drafts of air carry moisture high into the atmosphere, so that these clouds eventually become very thick and heavy. Condensation then releases the latent heat energy stored in the water vapor, providing the cyclone with more power. This creates a self-sustaining heat cycle. Drawn further upwards by the new release of energy, the clouds can grow to 12 to 15 kilometers high. The force created by the Earth's rotation on a tilted axis, the Coriolis effect, causes rising currents of air to spiral around the center of the tropical cyclone. It is at this stage that the cyclone matures and the eye of the storm is created. As the air rises and cools, some of this dense air descends to form the clear, still eye as the cyclone rages around it. The eye wall, where the wind is strongest, behaves like a whirling cylinder. Cyclones rotate clockwise in the southern hemisphere, anti-clockwise in the northern. The lowest air pressure in a tropical cyclone is always found at the center and is typically 950 millibars or less. The average air pressure at the Earth's surface is about 1010 millibars. Tropical cyclones have significantly lower air pressure than the air that surrounds them. The bigger the pressure difference, the stronger the wind force. One of the lowest air pressures ever recorded was 877 millibars for Typhoon Ida, which hit the Philippines in 1958, where winds reached 300 kilometers an hour. Once formed, the cyclone's movement or track follows a pathway away from its source, driven by global wind circulation. As warm ocean waters feed it heat and moisture, the cyclone continues to enlarge.
We are all now aware that a typhoon forms when the winds blow into the areas of the ocean where the water is warm. These winds collect moisture and rise, while colder air moves in below. This creates pressure, which causes the winds to move very quickly. The winds rotate or spin around a center called an eye. So, let us now come to why our country, the Philippines, is prone to typhoon. There are two reasons why Philippines is prone to typhoon. The first one is warm ocean waters, and the second one is the geographical location of the Philippines. The first is the warm ocean waters. Philippines is located just above the equator. The Philippines faces the western Pacific without much else in the way to take the force of storms. Those warm equatorial water powers storm about 20 typhoons a year. The second reason is the geographical location. The Philippines is prone to typhoon due to its geographical location, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas and also strong winds, which results in heavy casualties to human life and destructions to crops and properties. So, as a resident, what are the precautionary measures that can we do before, during, and after a typhoon? There are safety precautions that will help us to make good decisions on what to do before, during, and after a calamity like typhoon. Before a typhoon, we need to help our family to check and fix our houses for any damage. Stock adequate food supply. Stock up an adequate supply of drinking water. Prepare necessities. Prepare first aid kit. Monitor news about the typhoon. Pack a bag with clothes. The things that we need to do during a typhoon are: stay calm and be alert. Stay indoors. Monitor weather reports. And the last one is be ready to evacuate in case of emergency. After a typhoon, we need to have an eligible person inspect electrical wiring before using appliances to avoid any accident. Always wear footwears. Stay away from flood water. And the last one is boil drinking water. So class, those are the things that we need to consider to avoid accidents and severe damage after a typhoon. How do typhoons move in the Philippine area of responsibility? Typhoons usually move east to west across the country, heading north or west as they go. Storms most frequently make landfall on the islands of eastern Visayas, Bicol region, and northern Luzon, whereas the southern island and region of Mindanao is largely free of typhoons. Climate change is likely to worsen the situation, with extreme weather events, including typhoons, posing various risks and threats to the Philippines. So, again, typhoon is a giant rotating storm that brings wind, rain, and destruction. It is an intense circular storm that originates over warm tropical oceans and is characterized by low atmospheric pressure, high wind, and heavy rain. The main structures of typhoon are the eye wall, and the rain bands. There are five main categories of typhoon. These are the tropical depression, tropical storm, severe tropical storm, typhoon, and super typhoon. How do typhoons move in the Philippine area of responsibility? Typhoons usually move east to west across the country, heading north or west as they go. Storms most frequently make landfall on the islands of eastern Visayas, Bicol region, and northern Luzon, whereas the southern island of region of Mindanao is largely free of typhoons. Climate change is likely to worsen the situation, with extreme weather events including typhoons posing various risks and threats to the Philippines. There are also precautionary measures that we can do to minimize the accidents and severe damage before, during, and after a typhoon. So, class, do you learn something from our topic today about understanding typhoon? Okay, very good. If that is so, let's have an evaluation about our topic for today if you really learned something. I want you to get a 1/4 sheet of paper and a pen. Okay, I will read the questions twice and you will write the answers correctly. For numbers 1 to 5, you will identify whether the precautionary measure that I will read is before, during, and after a typhoon. Do you get it? Okay, let's start. Number 1, stay from flood water. Number 1, stay from flood water. Number 2, help your family to check and fix your houses for any damages. Number 2, help your family to check and fix your houses for any damages. Number 3, stay calm and be alert. Number 3, stay calm and be alert. Number 4, stay indoors. Number 4, stay indoors. Number 5, have an knowledgeable person inspect electrical wiring before using any appliances. Number 5, have an eligible person inspect electrical wiring before using any appliances. Okay, class. For numbers 6 to 10, you will write the correct answer on your paper. Do you get it? Okay, let's start. Number 6. It is a giant rotating storm that brings wind, rain, and destruction. It is a giant rotating storm that brings wind, rain, and destruction. Number 7. It is a tropical cyclone that has a maximum sustained wind surface of 38 miles or less. It is a tropical cyclone that has a maximum sustained surface winds of 38 miles per hour or less. Number 8. It is an extremely powerful tropical cyclone in the region of the western Pacific Ocean with sustained wind speed in excess of 240 kilometers per hour. Number 8. It is an extremely powerful tropical cyclone in the region of the western Pacific Ocean with sustained wind speeds in excess of 240 kilometers per hour. Number 9. It is a tropical cyclone that has maximum sustained wind speed ranging from 39 to 73 miles per hour. It is a tropical cyclone that has maximum sustained surface winds ranging from 39 to 73 miles per hour. And the last number, it is designed as a tropical cyclone when it reaches wind speed of 74 miles per hour. Last number, it is designed as a tropical cyclone when it reaches wind speed of 74 miles per hour. That's it, class. I hope you got all items correctly. For you to know, let's all check it out. For number 1, the answer is after. Number 2, before. Number 3, during. Number 4, during. And the last number is after. For numbers 6 to 10, the correct answers are the following. For number 6, the answer is typhoon. Number 7, tropical depression. Number 8, super typhoon. Number 9, tropical storm. And number 10, severe tropical storm. So class, how many items do you get the answers correctly? I bet perfect. And for your assignment, I want you to compare the air pressure and wind speed at different places within a tropical cyclone. Write it in a one whole sheet of paper and post it tomorrow afternoon. Again, I am Shantel Camposano, your science teacher for today. Leaving you with this quote by Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. I hope you learned something for today's class. Goodbye and have a great day ahead.